No, don't trust me, mate. Don't trust me.
And I think Arteta's shown a bit too much loyalty to certain players. That's what we want. That's what we like to see. Team, we can do it. We can win. We can beat anyone on our day. But I think he's got to do that consistently. So it was daylight robbery.
People say, oh, come on, being harsh. Maybe it is harsh, but
It's just classic Arsenal, isn't it? Hello, welcome back to the Ardent Gooners Network channel. As promised, today we are bringing you a Bayern Munich versus Arsenal preview video and a Champions League last 8 video. Yes, I'm going to discuss who I think will progress in all of the fixtures. Difficult task given they are so closely matched at the moment. Tonight we've got PSG taking on Barcelona and Dortmund taking on Atletico Madrid. And of course tomorrow we've got Bayern Munich versus Arsenal and Manchester City playing Real Madrid. So I'm not going to do it in order of the fixtures. I'm going to first talk about Arsenal because we are an Arsenal channel. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Bayern-Arsenal game. Now, we've heard some big news this morning that Kingsley Coman is not fit and neither is Serge Gnabry. However, Leroy Sané and Manuel Neuer will both be available for the game. Arsenal have full complement of players, except of course for Jurrien Timber, who we are not expecting back in the side for a little while still. Now it's going to be a massive game. I think talking about this game, it's quite clear to me that Bayern Munich have put all of their eggs in the Champions League basket, and in some ways that might reduce the pressure on us. I think where the tie stands, there's more pressure now on Bayern to win this game. They are in front of their own fans. They know that this is the only trophy they can win this season. Of course, they lost out to Leverkusen and Granit Xhaka at the weekend. And for Bayern, the stakes are very, very high. Thomas Tuchel is, of course, on his way out of the club. We're talking this morning, lots of reports in the media about Julian Nagelsmann coming back to Bayern. So this is really it for them. This is their big, big game. Possibly the biggest game they've got to play for quite some time, because they know that beating us is their only chance of remaining in the hunt for a trophy. For Arsenal, I think there's also some pressure. Of course, the Aston Villa game was very disappointing. We saw some of the old frailties returning to Arsenal. We looked shaky at the back and we looked outthought tactically, and that is a real worry for this game. But I think what we need to do is ensure that we have a similar performance to the one we did against Manchester City at the Etihad. And of course, this is going to be a very similar sort of game, a very difficult away ground to go to. And I think if we do get through, it's going to be predicated on good defensive performances. So with that said, we want Tomiyasu starting. I don't want to see Zinchenko. I don't want to see Jakub Kiwior. I want to see Tomiyasu in that position. And we want to see, of course, a good performance from our centre-back pairing, Gabriel and Saliba. Ben White, of course, has been very good this season, but he's going to need a better performance than the Villa game, where he was outmuscled by Nicolo Zaniolo, who unfortunately seemed to have the better of him for the whole game. The next fixture that we've got to play, of course, is on Saturday against Wolves, and I think what happens in this game will give a good indication of whether we are going to continue our season in the way that we've been going through, especially this year, especially in 2024. We hadn't lost a game until the Aston Villa match. So it's going to be very important to ensure that we are keeping that momentum going. And I think this Bayern game holds a lot of sway as to the momentum that we carry for the rest of the season. So without further ado, those are the key points for the game. I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw in normal time. I can see it going to extra time. And my heart says Arsenal are going to progress. Of course, my head says that it's going to be very difficult, especially in Bayern's ground. But I'm going to predict this one, and it's the only one I'm going to predict based on my heart as an Arsenal fan. So I'm going to go 1-1 and Arsenal to progress after extra time on penalties. So let's talk about the game tonight. We've got, two games. We've got Borussia Dortmund playing Atletico Madrid. And I'm going to be quite clear on this. I can see Dortmund progressing. I'm quite impressed with Atletico Madrid as a side. They're very defensively robust. Of course, Simeone is their manager. They're a very tough team to play against. In fact, I didn't want to draw them in the last 8. I did worry about our potential of beating Atletico Madrid because of their rigidity and their defensive strength. They're a very pragmatic side. They play with a lot of emphasis on their defence. But I can see Dortmund being at home, having the momentum and beating them over the 2 legs. So I'm going to predict a Borussia Dortmund win 3-1 and for them to progress in their home ground tonight. The other game, which is a very interesting game, is the PSG-Barcelona game. Now, Kylian Mbappe has been talked about. Barcelona produced a magnificent performance. Some of their young players are utterly incredible. Barcelona progressed, not progressed, but they won against PSG last week. Of course, 3-2 in that game. And I'm going to predict that they'll do that again at their ground. So I think Barcelona at the Nou Camp, they are going to win tonight against PSG. I can see another game that goes quite close. It's going to be a close game. I can see Barcelona winning 3-2. So I think Barcelona will win 3-2, same as the first leg. So they will progress on aggregate 6-4. So those are my predictions for tonight's game. The only one I haven't yet talked about is Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Now, Manchester City are our title rivals, as everybody knows. They've certainly got the advantage. As far as I'm aware, they've got a full squad to pick. They've got Kyle Walker back. We've heard from Guardiola and Bernardo Silva this morning. And I can see Manchester City, unfortunately, winning that game. I can see not a comfortable victory, but I think it will be a fairly straightforward one, unfortunately. I think Manchester City are that good. I know we're talking about Real Madrid here, but I think Manchester City are just another level. So I think with that said, I'm going to go with a Manchester City win. I'm going to go with Manchester City 3, Real Madrid 1. So Manchester City will progress through. So there, I've given you my 4 semi-finalists for the Champions League. We're going to have Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund on one side of the draw, and Arsenal and Manchester City on the other side of the draw. Now, it's going to be a feast of football these next couple of games, and let's enjoy it. Let's hope we get through, and I will see you in the next one.